Welcome to your weekend dose of astrological insight and inspiration for Saturday the 28th of September and Sunday the 29th of September 2024. I'm intuitive evolutionary astrologer and psychic tarot reader Crystal, the crystalline priestess, and without further ado, let's get into the energy of the weekend. Okay, my love, so we did speak a lot yesterday about the eclipse that we have building next week. Today we have the sun at 5 degrees of Libra, which means that we are only 5 days away from that full moon, new moon, lunar, oh my god, I can't see. Which means that we are only 5 degrees away from that solar eclipse in Libra. So guys, the moon still in Leo, we still have Virgo to go through before we get that moon over there in Libra, so we do have a little bit of time left, but this is feeling like a weekend of cleaning up the mess, cleaning up the stuff. So like I spoke to in Astro Tea and throughout all of the beginning of the week, the start of the week this week is rough as guts, but the end of the week feels as though it's getting a little bit easier. Or at the same time, we have, like I've spoken to, that eclipse that's building, which is still really rough, but it's feeling as though it's a little bit easier on the sense that we're starting to navigate our internals a little bit. No, I want to say with a bit more compassion, to be honest. That's the word that I'm getting, because this Mars trine over with Saturn that is building today. We have Mars at 13 degrees of Cancer, and we have Saturn who is at 14 degrees of Pisces. He's literally just moved down to 14 degrees over the past few days. So we are newly at a retrograded 14 degree Pisces Saturn, which is great for me. 15 degree Pisces Saturn Sun. That is, I'm feeling it. So this is definitely an opportunity that we're starting to get. It's coming in on the weekend to clear up these things, and I've already spoken to it. We've already spoken about clearing up the mess already throughout my readings all this week and over the past few months, and I keep reiterating this. I keep saying the same thing. Yes, because this is the season that we are in, because we really do need to be actually paying attention to the mess. You might be hearing me say clean up the mess and then going like, yeah, I should clean up the mess, but then you don't actually go and clean up the mess. Like, this is the fucking weekend where it's like, no, clean up the mess. Like, seriously, it's an opportunity. This Mars connection with Saturn to me feels like an opportunity, because it feels like a little bit of a respite after having so many fucking oppositions with Neptune that we've had over the past few weeks. And we've even, between having Mercury have like all those yods between Leo and with Virgo, and just all this energy that we've had with Virgo, the past month has felt like we are literally just on this hamster wheel grind. And so this is an opportunity this weekend, especially Saturday. It's building into Sunday even stronger. It's building into this, we need to fucking approach this shit. And a lot of us, it's actually going to come down to our home. It's going to come down to our environment with what we're doing on a day-to-day personal basis. It's going to come down to how we're taking care of our physical bodies. It's going to come down to our health, I think, as well. That's going to be really important. I feel like, in a way, not many people talk about this, but in my perception, I'm looking at Cancer, and yes, Cancer rules the home and, you know, all that sort of stuff. But if you think about a crab, the crab's home is actually, you know, on the crab's back. The crab's lives inside its home. So it's feeling to me as though the weekend is an opportunity of understanding yourself as your own home, you know, your body as your home, your body as the vessel to connect you with everything else in this life. Your body as being, you know, the connection with Saturn and Pisces. Your body as being the spiritual vessel to God. Your body being the physical, spiritual vessel, you know? So I feel as though this is a weekend about health. It's about rebalancing health, you know, with the sun coming into a conjunction with the South Node. It's going to be exact on Sunday. So we're really, really feeling where we have to start facing the parts of ourselves that are constantly wanting to ignore it, constantly wanting to ignore the emotional baggage that we've been dragging around. Now we have the Addict card coming out. Light attribute helps you recognize and confront addictive behavior. So we have been feeling addicted to a part of ourselves that is not healthy. addicted to a part of ourselves that wants to pretend like things are easier or better than they actually physically are. This is the wake-up call, you know. And even having this Mars, yes, it is in a lovely sextile over to Saturn over the weekend, but that's still going to call for you to face some of these uncomfortable things. Because, you know, Saturn in Pisces could be us facing some of these addictions. Are we addicted to thought patterns? Are we addicted to substances? Are we addicted to foods? Are we addicted to habits? Are we addicted to a certain lifestyle? Are we addicted to a belief about our lifestyle? Are we addicted to a belief about ourselves? There are literally infinite addictions. Like, I could not sit here and give you a list of all the addictions that exist, because you could almost pretty much be addicted to anything. Like, I could be addicted in a negative way to filming videos. Like, that could become a negative addiction. Or I could become overly addicted to doing something healthy, like going for swims. Like, I could become overly addicted to the point where I'm doing that shit like a crazy person, and not even like an Olympic athlete person, like an actual crazy person. Like, it's about navigating that sort of energy, knowing when enough is enough, when too much is too much, and knowing these sorts of things is a superpower. So the shadow attributes of the addict is compromises integrity and honesty, allows an addictive pattern to have authority over your inner spirit. So this is about this weekend. It's about no longer allowing this addictive pattern to have authority over your spirit. And that's what I feel like this Mars connection with Saturn is going to be. This is us taking our power back, into the sense that I'm not going to let these addictive patterns continuously take control of me and of my actions. At the same time as we have that lovely trine over with Saturn, we do have Mars, who is building into, or he's finished his square with Lilith, and now we have the Sun, who's building into his square with Mars, because the Sun is going to be moving quicker than Mars. So Mars and the Sun and this Libra, you know, it's like I'm talking about before or yesterday, where it's about our aesthetic, and it's about us trying to look a certain way. That's what this archetype is. Compromises integrity and honesty, allows an addictive pattern to have authority over your inner spirit. This is you having to take your inner spirit back, take the power of your inner world back, you know. Mars in a square to Lilith, we can't be taking actions or doing things anymore that are counterproductive, that are counterintuitive, that are against what it is that we're trying to actually build and create. We have the Companion and we have the Messiah archetype coming out, serving humanity with humility and loyalty, tenacity and unselfishness. The shadow attributes is an exaggerated belief that you are the only means through which a cause can succeed, and betrayal by misusing confidences, and a loss of personal identity. So it is about, you know, we can lose our identity through addictions. We can really easily learn to get lost in this belief that, even with this Messiah, that there is one way of achieving or receiving balance, that there is one way of achieving love, there's one way of achieving a sense of safety and comfort, and that's, you know, through an addiction. It feels as though this is us needing to really understand and accept the fact that we don't need this external thing, we don't need this substance, we don't need this thing that tells us or gives us permission to feel good. We really are moving into, with this lover archetype coming out, great passion and devotion, unbridled appreciation of something or someone. And I feel as though that's what's going to help us get out of these addictive tendencies, is to be in that love. You know, we still have the moon, who is in Leo on Saturday, and so he's making all these lovely sextiles over to the Sun and South Node, and even to Lilith. So we are needing to understand that our emotions aren't our, you know, they're not against us. The things that we feel passionate about and lovingly towards are not here to be ignored. We really do need to understand that your personal life is fucking important. And I think that a lot of us throughout this Pluto and Capricorn transit have been taught to believe that your career and your achievements are the most important thing. And so I feel as though that's where we're learning that it is not. It is not your personal life, how you feel as a person, how you feel success-wise, in the sense that have you achieved anything that you set out to do? Have you actually become the person that you wanted to be? That's success. It's not about looking successful on the outside. It's about how you feel feel about success on the inside. This is all internal, because this Mars in Cancer is about the internal world. That's why Mars loves to be in Capricorn, because he wants to be like, yeah, look at me, look at what I'm doing out in the world. He wants to be showing how big and tough and good he is, when the reality of Mars being in Cancer is, no, we need to face that we have personal shit to deal with. We have personal issues. We have personal things. We have emotions. We have families. We have things that we have to deal with in order to be able to actually show up to the career. And it's not about hustling. You know, there's a level of balance where it comes to, you know, not letting your emotions get in the way of your plans, but also not letting your plans get in the way of your emotions and your lifestyle and your family and all these things. There has to be a balance there. So the shadow attribute of the Lover is obsessive passion that harms others and self-destructive devotion. So a self-destructive devotion to the career, to the legacy, to the success story, self-destructive devotion even to an addiction or a pattern or a way of being or a thought pattern. Or even, you know, with companion, this is us needing to also accept that some of us are going to be in partnerships that are not healthy for us, partnerships that are not good for us, partnerships that are not actually, you know, in this Lover energy. More so they're in this addict energy where it's, you know, you're basically just getting this fulfillment out of it, but it's not really actually for your spirit. It's understanding where you have an addictive pattern, where you have this behavior that tends to ask you to always sort of yearn out and reach out and to get this something from somebody else because you feel like you don't have it within yourself. This is the weekend where it's like, no, I have to face the fact that I got to find this within myself. This is within myself. I can face it. I can understand that I have what I need. You know, it's not about the resource, it's not about everything external, it's about internal. So let's take a look at Sunday. Sunday is really not too much different, in my personal opinion, to Saturday, in the sense that we still have Mars at 13 degrees. He's still building into that lovely trine. We still have the moon. Probably the biggest thing, and what I did actually and the biggest thing, which I did actually forget to mention on Saturday, is that Jupiter is now in his exact perfect little sextile with Chiron over at 21 degrees of Aries. So this is very, very profound opportunity, a very profound opportunity for healing. And I say that a lot. But when we have these connections to Chiron, they're asking for us to pay attention to our wounds. They're asking for us to pay attention to where we are feeling broken. And with that addict card coming out with a weekend that has us, you know, building into a really strong eclipse, with the sun having that conjunction now at the south node opposing the north node, we do need to face where we have some karmic stories that we've been playing out for a long time. King of Wands in reverse. We are having to face where we have not had the confidence in the past, and where we might not even still quite have the confidence in some ways now, and we're having to build through that ego that is kind of saying, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I need to take the easy road out, like I'm just not one of these people. It's an addiction to self-pity, I think, as well, could be coming out over this weekend. So that is a really strong opportunity that can come up. We also have Uranus over the weekend, who is getting down to 26 degrees of Taurus, which means that he's making his conjunction once again with Algol, which is really intense. So we have the Five of Cups coming out with the Page of Cups as well. So this is a weekend where we are noticing where we've had losses. We're having to accept that there are losses in our lives. And I think for a lot of us as well, we are having to accept that we are in a moment of letting go, and we are in a moment of loss and losing things. You know, this is just really, especially with that Four of Wands in reverse, a lot of us are struggling with our homes. We are struggling with feeling safe and supported and comfortable in our own home. And so I feel like that's maybe why we're being brought to the imagery of the fact that, like, a crab carries its shell with him. A crab has his shell with him. You can maybe lose your physical home. You can maybe lose that physical sense of stability that you had grasped, but the internal sense of home, that internal safety, that internal well of divinity and love and self-protection comes from yourself. It comes from your internal world. It comes from how you've built a connection and a relationship with yourself. The sun being in an opposition to the North Node is, how have you built a connection with yourself? How is the connection with your own personal identity? Because that's what this full moon, I keep going to say full moon. That's what this new moon solar eclipse that we're going to be having next week is really, really kind of bringing up. It's this energy between ourselves and the world, and our egos, and you know, our image and how we're wanting to look compares to who we actually are. Are we actually being integral? Are we actually being authentic? It's about authenticity. And it's about understanding, you know, I just had that Four of Wands drop into the upright. So it's understanding that things may have to die in order to be reborn. Things may have to be let go in order to be celebrated. We sometimes have to understand that, you know, we've got to lose something in order to understand how valuable something is. You know, it's that classic energy. We don't know what we've got till it's gone. And now I'm hearing pave paradise, put up a parking lot. You know, it's kind of like, where have we been paving our own internal paradise to put up a fucking parking lot because we thought the parking lot was actually going to be more worthwhile than the paradise? This is us realizing over this weekend that no, the paradise is actually a lot more valuable than the parking lot. Because yeah, whatever, we can park some cars there and go to the pub, but really, you know what's actually a lot more amazing is having a full-on paradise, a full-on birds around us, you know, having an ecosystem of life. It's about having life. I feel like a lot of us have gotten so caught up in building something and building this, like King of Wands, building this mentality that says I'm this big strong person, or building this version of ourselves that looks like this, you know, I've got it all together, I've got the house, I've got the job, and I've spoken to it a lot of times recently. But it's building this aesthetic on the outside, but completely leaving what matters on the inside. That self-confidence has to come from internal. It's not about what you've managed to, you know, gain on the external. It's about how you're actually connected with yourself on the internal. That is where the biggest gifts lie. And then the Page of Cups coming out is about being in a receptive mode. It's about being in this receptive energy, and I think it's actually being receptive to our own higher selves. I feel as though our own intuition has something to tell us. We have this opportunity over the weekend to be guided into this understanding of where we're going, and that's because we have the Jupiter Chiron connection and we have the Saturn and Mars connection. Both of these beautiful, you know, we have a trine between Mars and Saturn, and we have a sextile between Jupiter and Chiron. And that's really feeling as though it's this need to wake up, this really deep need to wake up to where we're our own worst enemy at the moment, where we are being our own slave driver, in the sense that we are making ourselves, like we're and I say this a lot, actually, as a sixth house Sun Saturn Pisces, but I am the slave and I am the slave driver. That's what it feels like. So it feels as though this weekend we're realizing that we've been our own worst enemies and we're needing to let go a little bit. The Hierophant is just staying committed to the path you're on, but not needing to be a freak, you know, not needing to have this crazy you know, hustle mentality, grind mentality where it's all got to get done. You know, Sun with the South Node, we're feeling tired, we're feeling drained, we're feeling, you know, even a little bit exhausted. When we're actually needing to understand too, we're networking and we're connecting with people and we're being integral within ourselves creates, and being vulnerable with ourselves and being vulnerable with the people around us actually creates connection. And that connection is actually what builds success, because nobody ever reaches the top of the mountain without help from other people. You know, we are not a species that is designed to do it all alone. So we're needing to understand that we are not doing it alone. You know, the Sun with the South Node this weekend is understanding where we do have superpowers in the sense of the people around us. We do have an amazing lover, or we do have an amazing friend, or an amazing work partner, or an amazing co-worker, or an amazing, just, you know, family member, someone who is here to help us. It feels as though there is help around us. There is this opportunity to receive, you know, commitment, I think, from, and that's not actually what it is. It's feeling like we have this opportunity to receive help if we're choosing to commit to the path that we're on. If we're choosing to commit to a lifestyle that feels like it's letting go of these addictions, where it's confronting the parts of ourselves that are letting an addictive pattern have hold over us. It's time to let these patterns go and to no longer be held in this holding pattern of I need this certain thing to function, or I need to look a certain way to function. I need. It's feeling like this is about understanding what your truest needs are, your true needs and desires, with you know, Venus also being in Scorpio. And also, you know, they're coming into trine together with Mars and Venus are now coming in to make a really lovely trine. So it is about needing to understand where our values, our lifestyle values, and the values that we have towards our goals and our dreams and our ambitions are really, really important at the moment. And especially with where the world is going at and with all this recession energy and all this stuff, a lot of us are fearing around money. And so we're needing to find this inner well and this inner resource within so that we can now go out into the world without so much fear, because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be in fear for a long time while we move through this crazy, crazy energy. And, you know, we also have all the war stuff as well that's coming up. So, you know, we can't deny it. It is what it is. It's all there. We just no sticking our heads in the sand anymore. We have to face reality. So my loves, I'm going to leave this reading there. I do hope that you enjoyed this little weekend breakdown. Do let me know in the comments what is going on with you. If you feel like sharing, do give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, because it really helps to spread these videos to more astro nerds like you and I. If you would like to book a personal tarot or astrology reading with me, you can do that through the link tree down below. Make sure you check out your channeled songs for the weekend. Make sure you are up to date with all the horoscopes. Astro Tea Weekly will be up on Sunday, most likely. And yeah, there's also going to be a new moon solar eclipse reading coming in ASAP as well. So if it hasn't already been posted, do keep your eyes open for that. I love you guys so, so much. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next reading. Peace.